But when you give up your manhood, I've never seen somebody recover from it. But we're going to do this like men. So, get ready. Get ready. Any principles there are, and that's what the business does. And the women that trade their bodies to go and get the role.
He built an empire, but his secrets might be what destroy him. Terrence Howard isn't just dropping a podcast. He's lighting a match under Hollywood's darkest lies. And at the center of it all, Diddy. In a raw, unfiltered interview, Terrence revealed disturbing details that no one in the industry wants to talk about. What started as a request for acting advice quickly spiraled into something far more unsettling. And just when you think this story couldn't get more disturbing, it does. Terrence Howard is officially breaking ranks with Hollywood. During a gripping interview on the PBD Podcast, the Oscar-nominated actor dropped a bombshell. He's launching a new podcast designed to pull back the velvet curtain on an industry he claims is riddled with corruption, coercion, and cover-ups. But this isn't just another Hollywood tell-all. According to Howard, what he's about to reveal is so explosive it could shake the foundations of major studios. He described his upcoming podcast as a studio's nightmare and every actor's wet dream, as first reported by TMZ. That quote alone sent shockwaves through the industry and suggests that this platform won't just focus on personal experiences. It will expose systemic abuse and betrayal at the highest levels. The goal? To empower artists while holding power players accountable. Howard specifically called out some of the industry's biggest players, Creative Artists Agency, CAA, Disney, and Fox, accusing them of shady financial dealings and exploitative practices. And he didn't stop there.
But check this out. I made $12,000 for doing Hustle and Flow. And then on top of it, what Paramount did, instead of putting my name as Terrence Howard performing the songs, right, they put performed by DJ. Well, they own DJ. So guess what? The performance royalties went to Paramount.
He claimed these institutions weren't just guilty of underpayment or mistreatment. They were part of a wider machine that manipulates, silences, and discards talent once they've been used. The emotional weight behind his words was impossible to ignore. Howard, a veteran actor who once headlined blockbuster films and led the hit series Empire, said he's been holding back these truths for years. But now, with nothing left to lose, he's ready to name names. And the first name he dropped? Sean Diddy Combs. That's when the tone of the interview shifted from shocking to downright unsettling.
But when you give up your manhood, I've never seen somebody recover from it. That was all the people that went to the puffy parties. That was all the people that did all those things thinking that there was never going to be a consequence for what they were doing.
Howard's next revelation on the PBD Podcast sent shockwaves through the interview. He claimed that Sean Diddy Combs had persistently invited him over under the pretense of acting mentorship. For weeks, Diddy allegedly requested Terrence's help with his acting, portraying himself as a student eager to learn from a seasoned performer. But what seemed like an innocent professional interaction took a deeply unsettling turn. When Howard finally agreed to meet, he was caught off guard. There was no script, no scene work. Instead, Diddy allegedly just sat there in silence, staring at him. According to Howard, the mood was tense and uncomfortable. The odd behavior didn't stop there. Watch this now.
He invited me for weeks, asking me to come and teach him how to, wanted me to be his acting coach for a while. Go there and he's sitting around just looking. I'm like, okay, what's the material you want to work on? He's just looking at me. Then next thing you know, okay, hey, will you help me? I want to hear your music. So I come over there and I play the music. And he's sitting there, just looking at me, like waiting. Okay. So then my assistant was like, he wants to hang out with you next week. And I was like, for what? He's like, I think he's trying to fuck you.
It was in that moment that Terrence says he recognized the situation for what it was. He cut ties with Diddy completely. For the first time, Howard is publicly addressing what he calls an example of how power dynamics are abused behind closed doors in the entertainment world. And he makes it clear, this wasn't an isolated incident. It was just one thread in a tangled web of manipulation that, according to him, runs deep in Hollywood. Howard directly connects this interaction to the broader culture of silence and exploitation, especially around the exclusive, taboo-laced parties Diddy was known for hosting. These weren't just social gatherings. According to Howard, they were invitations into something far darker, where fame came at the cost of personal dignity. And for those who didn't play along, the cost was exclusion, or worse, erasure from the industry altogether.
It's a difference when a guy walks in a room and when a man walks into a room. And a man don't take the same things that a guy will accept. So always be the man in the room. And that's always been my whole thing, and have lost businesses because I don't bend over in that way. I don't compromise. I don't play gay roles. I don't kiss a man. I don't do that shit because the man card means everything.
The whispers surrounding Diddy's so-called freak-offs have been circulating for years, but Terrence Howard didn't just confirm their existence. He painted a disturbing picture of what went on behind those velvet ropes. These invite-only gatherings weren't about networking or celebration. According to Howard, they were events designed to test boundaries, exploit vulnerability, and erase dignity in exchange for access and power. He explained that men, some of Hollywood's biggest stars, entered those parties expecting influence and opportunity, but left damaged and burdened. His statements go beyond gossip. They speak to deeper traumas, one that doesn't just fade with time or success. What's even more chilling is how casually those events were spoken about behind closed doors. Terrence hinted that this wasn't an anomaly. It was a pattern, a system, the kind of environment where people were expected to submit if they wanted to ascend. Then came the moment that made even the podcast host lean in, when Patrick Bet David mentioned Justin Bieber.
No, I get it. So you see some guys struggling with that. You see Bieber struggling with that. You see some of these guys struggling with that.
They can't get it out of their head.
These weren't isolated incidents involving fringe celebrities. They were widespread, well-attended, and deeply damaging. And even if many remain silent, their silence may be the loudest evidence of all. The price of integrity. Terrence Howard never played the Hollywood game. He refused roles that challenged his principles, turned down offers that compromised his values, and walked away from relationships that didn't feel real. But that integrity came at a steep cost. According to Howard, it marked him as difficult, a label that quietly shut him out of major opportunities and multi-million-dollar deals. In his PBD interview, Howard detailed how the industry retaliated when he refused to conform. He says high-level producers made veiled propositions and backdoor offers, some financial, some personal. When he didn't play along, the doors closed, one by one. Take Hustle and Flow, the 2005 film that made Howard a household name. It was a breakout role that led to an Oscar nomination and a massive cultural moment. The film grossed over $75 million worldwide, yet Howard says he walked away with only $12,000. Even worse, Paramount listed the film's soundtrack credits under his character's name, DJ, instead of his own, meaning the studio kept the music royalties. The situation wasn't any better with Crash, another Oscar-winning film where Howard played a key role. For that project, he claims he was paid just $6,000. 2 iconic performances, 2 industry-defining films, and Howard was left chasing pennies while others raked in the millions. Now, nearly 2 decades later, he's considering legal action against Paramount for unpaid royalties and long-denied residuals. But for Howard, this isn't just about money. It's about what the system took from him and what it continues to take from artists who dare to demand respect. He's done holding his tongue. With his new podcast on the horizon, Terrence Howard says he's stepping up not just for himself, but for every actor who's been exploited, blacklisted, or stripped of credit, simply because they refused to play by Hollywood's corrupt rules. And while Hollywood kept the doors closed to Terrence, another powerhouse figure was already waiting to kick them down, 50 Cent. Terrence isn't standing alone, and if there's one celebrity who never shies away from a fight, it's 50 Cent. The hip-hop mogul has been leading an unrelenting campaign against Diddy ever since Cassie's explosive lawsuit hit the headlines. But now, it's bigger than memes or jabs. 50 is producing a Netflix documentary titled Did He Do It? And he's reportedly reached out to Terrence Howard to take part. For 50, this isn't just business, it's personal. He spent months taunting Diddy on social media, dropping cryptic captions and teasing footage. One of his most chilling reactions to Terrence's claims, "God help us all," but the documentary could be the kill shot. Not only has he offered Terrence and Taraji P. Henson roles in future G-Unit projects with the promise of fair pay and respect, but insiders say 50's been gathering receipts for months. We're talking messages, behind-the-scenes invites, and maybe even surveillance-level footage. If the rumors are true, what 50 has in his possession could pull back the curtain on Hollywood's most carefully hidden secrets. And with Terrence's first-hand testimony, the impact could be seismic. If this documentary goes the way 50 is planning, it won't just expose Diddy. It could ignite a reckoning across the entire entertainment industry, one that Hollywood won't be able to ignore. So far, silence. And that silence is deafening. Despite the magnitude of Terrence Howard's claims and the wave of legal heat aimed at Diddy, the vast majority of the entertainment industry has chosen to stay quiet. It's a chilling reminder of how power still dictates who gets protected and who gets ignored. One of the only bold voices to speak publicly is Cat Williams, who has long accused the industry of corruption and cover-ups, but beyond him, it's mostly been crickets. Jay-Z, once seen as Diddy's closest ally, is now noticeably quiet. This is the same Jay-Z who famously skipped his daughter Blue Ivy's recital to perform at Diddy's 20th anniversary show. The same Jay who Diddy referred to as his strategist and brother. There's footage, there's history, but these days, Jay seems to be steering clear of the headlines.
Give it up for Jay-Z, yo! Hey, yo, check this out. Hey, yo, Hov, man. Hey, yo, Hov is doing a lot of things, man. Most importantly, you know, he had a recital that he has to be at the Blue. But he reached out to him, and I told him that this right here was important. Bad Boy celebrating 20 years of hits. And this is extended family. You've been there with me through my ups and downs. Yes, sir. Whenever I get in trouble, this is the one I call. This is my strategist right here. This is my brother. This B.I.G's brother. Yes, sir. This Brooklyn's own Brooklyn. So I appreciate you. He came 5,000 miles away to come here to Brooklyn to represent the B.I.G. Make some noise for Hov.
Hollywood has always had a shadow side, a murky underworld of manipulation, silence, and unchecked power. Stories of coercion, exploitation, and secret deals have echoed through the industry for decades. But Terrence Howard may be the first A-list actor to publicly suggest that Diddy himself tried to cross a deeply personal line. It's a bold move that reopens a conversation many believed would never see the light of day. Then there's The Game, who shared in past interviews that he spent nearly 2 years flying around the world with Diddy. Despite being a rapper signed to major labels, he claims they never recorded a single track. Instead, it was all luxury trips, non-stop partying, and mysterious detours.
Wasn't Puffy interested in working with you also?
Yeah, Puff. I was running around with Puff for a minute, but we was just partying, man. Puff liked to party.
At the time, most brushed it off as typical celebrity excess. But now, fans are rewatching his old Vlad TV and Drink Champs interviews with a new lens, wondering what really happened during those years. Stevie J, a longtime associate and former Bad Boy insider, also made headlines when he clapped back hard at 50 Cent for calling him out. His angry response raised more questions than answers. Why so defensive? What secrets might he be guarding? And then there are the repeat names that keep surfacing. Machine Gun Kelly, DJ Khaled, Rick Ross.
So you put out this mixtape. What about the next full album? What's the plan with that?
Yeah, so that's what I was actually in LA doing yesterday too. Actually, okay, so I know what it was. I was partying the day before yesterday. Yesterday, I had smoked something that Puff had gave me, and it was like it was as if I had partied like 3 nights straight. It was like, it was the craziest. Have you seen Get Him to the Greek? The movie.
Yes, yeah.
Remember the Jeffrey scene? Here's a Jeffrey.
Oh, yeah.
And like it's supposedly like all the things mixed in one.
Yeah.
That's what you had?
I swear that had to be what it is.
And who gave it? Diddy gave this to you?
Yeah,
Who gave this? So you call him Puff. You call him.
Yeah, I call him Puff.
All right. I don't know what to call the guy. He changes his name, like once a year or whatever. So he gave you this.
Yeah, well, I mean, he'll look out. Like I was like, I'm about to go to the airport. I need something that'll knock me out. I mean, it totally did the opposite. I was doing crazy dance moves to the weirdest music for 20 minutes straight. Like while he was on the phone, and I was just outside the window, looking in while he was looking at me like, man,
this guy's tripping.
This kid's nuts. Like, but the funniest part was he was like, all right, man. He was like, oh, okay. So the thing I said, do you have, can I get some? Do you have any, whatever? And I just wanted someone to go to the airport, just to last me so I can knock out on this flight. And he's like, yeah, I'm gonna have my guy. So he goes down, comes back up with his stuff, and the guy shows Puff. And I was like, no. I'm trying to give him like he said the Snoop Doggy Dogg is what he said he's trying to give me. So I was like, oh yeah, for sure. I want, yeah. What is that? What's up with that? Where's that?
Sounds good. Whatever the hell that is.
Like, what is that? So, long story short, he finally finds it, and he's like, oh, here you go. He's like, now my guy said take four hits and like stop.
All right.
And we didn't.
You just kept going.
So, yeah, and so like he was like, come back up in 5 minutes. And I mean, when I tell you I came back up in 5 minutes and like had a result for him, like, you know what I mean? Like if it was crazy.
Now, does he smoke any of this, or is he too reserved?
I have no idea.
I mean, he didn't smoke it with you, so it wasn't like you and P. Diddy smoking together. He just sends you down, and then he's on the phone running his empire.
Yeah.
And you're dancing naked outside of his window.
Like, tweaking balls, yeah.
No wonder these black guys think that white people are crazy. Right. It's this guy. It's all because of him.
And so we had right before that, though, we had a meeting about the next album with the president Interscope. Mm-hmm. And that was the first.
No, wait, you did this meeting before you smoked, right? Okay, yeah. All right.
But I'm sure those guys don't put it past me to do it during that, too. I mean,
According to one of Diddy's former staffers, these artists weren't just party guests. They were regulars. One staffer even claimed Diddy transmitted an STD to him and later sent Rick Ross to pressure him into silence. These aren't just accusations. They're disturbing signs of a larger pattern that many believe is only beginning to unravel. The question isn't whether more names will come forward. The question is how many already know the truth and are too scared to speak. The legal clock is ticking. Diddy's criminal trial is officially locked in, with the judge firmly denying any request to delay the proceedings. Despite his legal team arguing that they needed more time to sift through discovery, the court pushed back hard. With 4 powerhouse law firms on his side, the excuse didn't hold water. Meanwhile, outside the courtroom, the pressure is building. Terrence Howard's podcast hasn't even dropped its first episode, yet its very announcement has rattled the entertainment world. The buzz, the tension, the speculation, it's all heating up before a single mic has been turned on. If Howard delivers on his promise to expose what he calls Hollywood's deepest betrayals, the fallout could be massive, and this is just the beginning. With Diddy's legal troubles mounting and Howard refusing to back down, both courtrooms and boardrooms are bracing for impact. Allies are going silent. Old clips are resurfacing, and the public is connecting dots the industry's never wanted linked. As Terrence put it, what benefit is that if I lose my integrity? That question isn't just rhetorical anymore. It's a challenge to every silent witness still standing on the sidelines. And just when you think you've heard the wildest part, remember, this might only be the beginning. If Terrence Howard's claims are even half true, then Diddy's infamous parties could be just one piece of a much larger puzzle. What other powerful names are hiding behind the curtain? What other careers were manipulated, silenced, or erased? The silence from Hollywood speaks volumes, but now that someone like Terrence is talking, who's going to be next? Drop your thoughts in the comments.